Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Friday, July 2nd, 2021. Big show today. NBA playoffs, Stanley Cup Final, MLB, WNBA, UEFA, tennis, golf, NASCAR, MLB mock draft, my third edition of it, news and notes, and my best bet of the day. You know how Friday podcasts roll. We will start with the NBA playoffs. We will look back on last night's game and look ahead to Saturday's Game 6 as the Bucks came out on top by a score of 123 to 112 to take a 3-2 series lead. Brook Lopez was just turning back the clock. 33 points. And Bogdan Bogdanovic, who's playing hurt, 28 points for Atlanta. And then Saturday, 8:30 on TNT, Game 6 between the Bucks and the Hawks. I project the Hawks favorites here by 5 points without Giannis. Total 226.5. And if Trae Young doesn't play, this goes to a pick'em. And FanDuel has this at Hawks by 1, total 216.5. Overs have been popular in the series. I think that continues. Maybe Trae's back, maybe not. But even without Trae and Giannis, this total was an easy over yesterday. So I'm going to go over 216.5 between the Bucks and the Hawks. And if you asked me at gunpoint to project the result, I'm going to say that Atlanta forces a decisive Game 7. All right, now we will look ahead to the Stanley Cup Final for tonight. Game 3 between the Lightning and the Canadiens, 8 o'clock on NBC. Kenny Albert, Eddie Olczyk, Brian Boucher on the call. Tampa's minus 136, Montreal's plus 116, over under 5.5. Overs plus 138, unders minus 172. Tampa minus 1F is plus 210. Montreal plus 1F is minus 260. Montreal's going to get on the board, I think, in the series. I'm stunned at how low this is. 116, it shouldn't be this low. I would prefer it to be higher than plus 120, but looks like everybody's betting Montreal, and the Vegas knows something. So give me the Canadiens plus 116 at home to get on the board in the series, and for Tampa's lead to be cut to 2-1. Game number 4 will be Monday night, so we'll preview and predict that on the podcast on Monday. All right, Major League Baseball, we will go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to tonight and the rest of the weekend. Mariners over the Blue Jays 7-2. Seattle 43-39. Toronto 41-38. Red Sox over the Royals 15-1. That's wild. Boston 51-31. KC 33-47. The Red Sox playing great right now. White Sox over the Twins 8-5. Chicago 48-32. Minnesota 33-46. Rangers over the A's 8-3. Texas 32-49. Oakland 48-35. Dodgers over the Nationals 6-2-5. As the game was called in the 5th inning. Dodgers 50-31. Nats 40-39. Brewers over the Pirates 7-2. The Brewers are 49-33. Pittsburgh 29-51. Astros over the Indians 7-2. The Astros are 49-33. Cleveland 42-36. Reds over the Padres 5-4. Cincinnati 40-40. San Diego 49-34. Braves over the Mets 4-3. So this goes over by a run. Atlanta 39-41. Mets 41-36 as the Braves won it on a walk-off infield single by Freddie Freeman as the Mets came back and left DeGrom off the hook. Rocks over the Cardinals 5-2. The Rockies are 35-47. Cardinals 40-42. Diamondbacks over the Giants 5-3. The D-backs are 23-60. San Fran 50-30. Angels Yankees postponed were scheduled for August 16th. Marlins Phillies postponed were scheduled for July 16th. All right, tonight, 6 o'clock, the Padres and the Phillies. Chris Paddock and Zach Wheeler. The Phillies are minus 130. The Pods are plus 110. Over under 8. Overs minus 106. Unders minus 114. San Diego plus 1/2 is minus 196. Phillies minus 1/2 is plus 162. I'm going to go with the under 8 minus 114, but I don't feel good about it. Dodgers Nationals. Julio Urias and Max Scherzer. This is a pick'em. Dodgers and Nats are both at minus 108. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 104. Unders minus 118. Dodgers minus 1/2 is plus 152. Nats plus 1/2 is minus 184. So the Dodgers are the de facto favorites. Getting Scherzer at minus 108. I like it. So do I feel good about it? No, but I'm going to go with the Nats. Minus 108 against the Dodgers. Brewers Pirates. Adrian Hauser and JT Brubaker. Brewers minus 122. Pirates plus 102. Over under 7.5. Minus 118. Over. Unders minus 104. Brewers minus 1/2 is plus 136. Pirates plus 1/2 is minus 164. I'm going to go with over 7.5 at minus 118. Do I feel good about it? No. Mets Yankees. Taijuan Walker and Jordan Montgomery. Yankees minus 144. Mets plus 122. Over under 9. Overs minus 115. Unders minus 105. Mets plus 1/2 is minus 154. Yankees minus 1/2 is plus 128. The combination of the overrating of the New York Yankees in the gambling lines and the disrespect of Taijuan Walker, who's been the Mets' second best pitcher this season. I'm going with the Mets plus 122 at the Yankees. Rays Blue Jays. Luis Patino and Alek Manoah. I don't see any lines up here, but if the total is anything less than 8, I'll go with the over. White Sox Tigers, Lance Lynn and Casey Mize. White Sox minus 154, Tigers plus 130, over under 8.5, minus 110 each way. White Sox minus 1/2 is plus 105, Tigers plus 1/2 is minus 126. Ballsy pick, but I'm going to go underdog Tigers plus 130. I like Casey Mize. I think that the markets have finally adjusted for him. So I'm going to go with Mize and the Tigers at home against Lance Lynn and the White Sox. Cubs Reds, Alec Mills and Sonny Gray. Reds are minus 158. The Cubs are plus 134. Over under 9.5. Overs minus 114. Unders minus 106. Cubs plus 1/2 is minus 146. Reds minus 1/2 is plus 122. I'm going to go under 9.5 at minus 106. I think that is a little high. Astros Indians. Lance McCullers Jr. and Sam Hentages. The Astros are minus 184. The Indians are plus 154 over under 9. Overs minus 112. Unders minus 108. Astros minus 1/2 is minus 122. Indians plus 1/2 is plus 102. I'm going over 9 minus 112. Astros and overs have been money recently. Marlins Braves at 720. Pablo Lopez and Drew Smiley. Braves minus 130. Marlins plus 110 over under 9. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. Miami plus 1/2 is minus 184. Braves minus 1/2 is plus 152. The disrespect of Pablo Lopez plus 110. I'm going with the Marlins. The Twins and the Royals at 8 o'clock. You got Jay Happ and Brady Singer. The Royals are minus 116. The Twins are minus 102. Over under 10. Overs minus 112. Unders minus 108. Twins minus 1/2 is plus 146. Royals plus 1/2 is minus 178. I think the Royals are undervalued here, even at a juice minus 116. So I'm going to lay the minus 116 with KC. Cardinals Rockies. Johan Oviedo and Chichi Gonzalez. Each team's minus 108. Over under 12.5. Overs minus 114. Unders minus 108. Cardinals minus 1/2 is plus 136. Rockies plus 1/2 is minus 164. I'm going with the Cardinals minus 108 at gunpoint. Pretty much. Orioles Angels at 9:30. Keegan Aiken and Griffin Canning. The Angels are minus 174. The Orioles are plus 146. Over under 9.5. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. Orioles plus 1/2 is minus 128. Angels minus 1/2 is plus 106. I'm going to go with the over 9.5 and minus 105 here. I like how the Angels lineup is hitting, and I think that comeback against the Yankees could be a rallying cry for them. Red Sox A's. Eduardo Rodriguez and Frankie Montas. Oakland is minus 106. Red Sox minus 110. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 108. Unders minus 112. Red Sox minus 1/2 is plus 146. Oakland plus 1/2 is minus 178. I'm going with the A's minus 106. Wrong team is favored. Giants Diamondbacks. Alex Wood and Zach Gallen. Giants minus 152. D-backs plus 138. Over under 8.5 minus 110 each way. Giants minus 1/2 is plus 114. D-backs plus 1/2 is minus 137. I'm going over 8.5 minus 110. Alex Wood has not been the same pitcher from before the season. And last but not least, at 10 o'clock, the Rangers and the Mariners. Kyle Gibson and Logan Gilbert. Rangers minus 112. Seattle minus 104. Over under 8. Overs minus 108. Unders minus 112. Texas minus 1/2 is plus 152. Mariners plus 1/2 is minus 184. I'm going with the Rangers minus 112 on the road at Seattle. Saturday, 1 o'clock, Mets Yankees. Marcus Stroman and Garrett Cole. Good pitching matchup. Rays Blue Jays. Shane McClanahan, Ross Stripling. That's at 3. 4 o'clock, Brewers Pirates. Eric Lauer, we know what's going for Pittsburgh. Fox Sports 1, Padres Phillies. Yu Darvish and Zach Eflin. White Sox Tigers. Dallas Keuchel and Tariq Skubal. Cubs Reds. Adbert Alzolay and Tyler Mahle. Marlins Braves. Zach Thompson and Kyle Buller. Twins Royals. We don't know what's going for Minnesota, and Danny Duffy's going for KC. 7:15 on Fox. Red Sox A's. Garrett Richards and Cole Irvin. Astros Indians. Jake Odorizzi and Eli Morgan. I almost said Eli Manning. Oops. Dodgers Nationals. Clayton Kershaw and Paolo Espino. 9 o'clock, Cardinals Rockies. Wade LeBlanc and Kyle Freeland. 10 o'clock, Orioles Angels. Jorge Lopez and Alex Cobb. Giants D-backs. Sammy Long, we don't know what's going for Arizona. And Rangers Mariners. Jordan Lyles and Marco Gonzalez. Sunday, 11 a.m., Dodgers Nationals. Trevor Bauer and Joe Ross. 1 o'clock, Brewers Pirates. Freddie Peralta and Tyler Anderson. 1 o'clock, TBS, Padres Phillies. We don't know what's going for San Diego. Vince Velasquez is going for Philly. Rays Blue Jays. Ryan Yarbrough and Robbie Ray. White Sox Tigers. Lucas Giolito and Matt Manning. Cubs Reds. Kyle Hendricks and Wade Miley. Astros Indians. Zach Greinke was going for Cleveland. Marlins Braves at 1:20. Sandy Alcantara and Charlie Morton. 2 o'clock, Twins Royals. Kenta Maeda and Brad Keller. Cardinals Rockies at 3. Carlos Martinez and Herman Marquez. Orioles Angels at 4. Thomas Eshelman and Patrick Sandoval. Red Sox A's. Nick Pivetta and James Kaprielian. Rangers Mariners. Mike Foltynewicz and Chris Flexen. Sunday Night Baseball, Mets Yankees. Tyler McGill and Michael King. And 9 o'clock Giants Diamondbacks. Anthony DeSclafani and Caleb Smith. All right, now we'll do WNBA from yesterday. Look ahead to the weekend. Yesterday, one game, the Sun over the Fever, 86-80. The Sun 12-5, the Fever 1-16. Brianna Jones had 34 and 7 boards for Connecticut, and Kelsey Mitchell had 21 for Indiana. Friday, which is tonight, 8 o'clock, CBS Sports Network, they have the Sky and the Wings. The Wings have been an overachiever. The Sky, kind of been an underachiever. I think the Sky should win that game. 10 o'clock, the Aces and the Sparks. The Aces have been great. The Sparks have not. I'll go with the Aces on the road. And then on Twitter at 10, you have the Dream and the Storm. I got to go to Seattle. I think it'd be wrong to bet against Seattle here. Saturday, 1 o'clock, NBA TV, the Sun and the Fever. I think the Sun should win again. CBS Sports Network, Commissioner's Cup, Mystics Liberty, the return of Tina Charles to New York. I think the Mystics will win that one, and Tina Charles will have a big chip on her shoulder in that game. And 10 o'clock on Facebook, the Lynx and the Mercury. I think the Mercury should be able to win that one at home. And on 4th of July, 6 o'clock NBA TV, the Dream and the Aces. The Aces should dominate that game, to be quite honest. And then you got the Commissioner's Cup game at 9 o'clock on NBA TV, the Storm and the Sparks. I think this could be a trap game for Seattle. So I'm going to go with the Sparks at home for that one. All right, now I'm going to look at the weekend's UEFA games. It's the quarterfinal. It's going to be fun. So today at 12 o'clock, you have Spain and Switzerland. If I'm not mistaken, I'm going to say Spain was in Group A and Switzerland in Group B, maybe? No, Switzerland was A and Spain's E. So Spain is minus 160. Switzerland's a huge dog, plus 480. Ties plus 280. I'm going to go with Spain. 3 o'clock in ESPN, you have Belgium and Italy. Italy was Group A. Belgium, Group B. Both these teams have been fabulous so far. Italy's plus 135. Belgium's plus 230. Tie is plus 195. I'm going to go tie. I think this game goes pretty far. So I'm going to go tie plus 195 in that one. And then Saturday, 12 o'clock on ESPN, you have Czech Republic and Denmark. Denmark's Group B. And Czech is in Group D. Denmark's plus 110 favorites. Czech is plus 280. Ties plus 210. I'm going to go actually with Czech Republic. Plus 280 is the dog in that one. And then 3 o'clock on ABC, Ukraine and England. England was in Group D. And Ukraine was Group C. England's a big minus 250 favorite. Ukraine's 7-1, tie plus 330. I'm going with England as the big favorite in that match. All right, now we will do Wimbledon results from yesterday. Look ahead to today's and tomorrow's matches, which will begin the third round, amazingly enough. So let's start with yesterday's results in the men's. You got 16-seeded Felix Auger Asalame over Mikaela Mayer in 4 sets. Nick Kyrgios over Gianluca Mager in 3 sets. 6-seeded Roger Federer over Richard Gasquet in 3 sets. 32-seeded Marin Cilic over Benjamin Bonzi in 4 sets. 14-seeded Hubert Hurkacz over Marcos Giron in 3 sets. Alexander Bublik over Grigor Dimitrov, your 18-seed in 3 sets. 2-seeded Daniil Medvedev over Carlos Alcaraz Garcia in 3 sets. 31-seeded Taylor Fritz over Steve Johnson in 5 sets. 23-seeded Lorenzo Songo over Daniel Galan in 4 sets. Ilya Ivashka over Jeremy Chardy in 4 sets. Jordan Thompson over Kei Nishioka in 4 sets. 29-seeded Cam Norrie over Alex Bolt in 3 sets. Pedro Martinez over 13-seeded Gael Monfils in 4 sets. 7-seeded Matteo Berrettini over Baltic Vandu Janschulp in 3 sets. James Duckworth over Sam Querrey in 4 sets. 4-seeded Alexander Zverev over Tanis Sandgren in 3 sets. Aljaz Bedin over Yoshihito Nishioka in 3 sets. And last but not least, 17-seeded Christian Garin over Mark Polmans in 4 sets. Third round beginning today. Underway, you have Christian Garin and Pedro Martinez. I think Garin will win that one. That's in the first set. 26-seeded Fabio Fognini and 5-seeded Andrei Rublev. I think it's going to be Rublev in 5. 25-seeded Karen Kakdavov and Francis Tiafoe. We're going to go Kakdavov in 4 in that one. The rest of the third round, 9-seeded Diego Schwartzman and Marton Fucsovics. We're going to go Schwartzman in 4. Dominic Kofor and 8-seeded Roberto Batista Agut. We're going to go Batista Agut in 3. 1-seeded Novak Djokovic and Dennis Kudla. We're going to go Djokovic in 3. 22-seeded Dan Evans and Sebastian Korda. We'll go Evans in 4. And 10-seeded Denis Shapovalov over and against Andy Murray. We'll go Shapovalov in 4. And in Saturday's matches, Ilya Ivashka and Jordan Thompson. We'll go Thompson in 4. 14-seeded Hubert Hurkacz and Alexander Bublik. We're going to go Hurkacz in 4. 31-seeded Taylor Fritz and Alexander Zverev. We're going to go with Zverev in 5. I think that's going to be a great match. 32-seeded Marin Cilic and 2-seeded Daniil Medvedev. We're going to go Medvedev in 4. 7-seeded Matteo Berrettini and Aljaz Bedin. We're going to go with Berrettini in 3. 23-seeded Lorenzo Songo and James Duckworth. We're going to go Songo in 4. 6-seeded Roger Federer and 29-seeded Cam Norrie. We're going to go Federer in 4. And 16-seeded Felix Auger Asalame and Nick Kyrgios. We're going to go Kyrgios in the upset in 5. All right, women's side. We're going to go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to today and tomorrow's third round action. Alexandra Sasnovich over Nayo Hibino in 2 sets. Emma Raducanu over Marketa Vondrousova in 2 sets. Kaja Juvan over Clara Burrell in 2 sets. Sorana Saresta upsets 12-seeded Victoria Azarenka in 3 sets. Alja Tomljanovic over Elise Cornet in 3 sets. 20-seeded Coco Gauff over Elena Vestina in 2 sets. 31-seeded Daria Kasatkina over Jalina Ostapenko in 3 sets. 25-seeded Angelique Kerber over Sarah Tormo in 3 sets. 1-seeded Ashley Barty over Anna Blinkova in 2 sets. How about this? Magda Linette upsets 3-seeded Elena Svitolina in 2 sets. Katerina Siniakova over Coco Van Wey in 3 sets. So the Coco's run comes to an end. Anastasia Sevastova over Marta Kostakuk in 3 sets. 30-seeded Paula Badosa over Yulia Puntaseva in 2 sets. 19-seeded Carolina Muchova over Kamila Gorgi in 3 sets. 16-seeded Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova over Kristina Pliskova in 2 sets. And 14-seeded Barbara Krejcikova over Andrei Petrovic in 2 sets. Today so far, final third round, 8-seeded Carolina Pliskova over Teresa Martikova in 2 sets. And 7-seeded Iga Swiatek dominates Irina Begu in 2 sets. Coming up today, Maria Osorio Serrano and 2-seeded Ariana Sablenka. We're going to go Sablenka in 2. Shelby Rogers in 18-seeded Elena Rybinka. We're going to go Rybinka in 3. Ludmila Samsonova and Solane Stevens. We're going to go Stevens in 2. 21-seeded Ons Jabeur and 11-seeded Gabrina Muguruza. We're going to go Muguruza in 3. Victoria Golubic and Madison Brangle. Go Brangle in 3. And 13-seeded Elise Mertens and 23-seeded Madison Keys. Let's go Madison Keys in 3. And then tomorrow you got, here's a good one, 19-seeded Carolina Muchova and 16-seeded Anastasia Pavlyuchova. We'll go Pavlyuchova in 3. Anastasia Sevastova and 14-seeded Barbora Krejcikova. We'll go Krejcikova in 3. 1-seeded Ashley Barty and Katerina Siniakova. We're going to go Barty in 3. Kaja Juvan and 20-seeded Coco Gauff. We'll go Coco in 2. Jelena Ostapenko and Alja Tomčević. We're going to go Tomčević in 3. Sarana Sarista and Emma Raducanu. We're going to Raducanu in 3. 25-seeded Angelique Kerber and Alexandra Sasnovic. We're going to go Kerber in 2. And then Magda Linette and 30-seeded Paula Badosa. We're going to go Badosa in 2 sets. So there you have it for Wimbledon for the weekend. Now we'll go over the current results, or I should say the current leaderboard of the Rocket Mortgage Classic. And on top, with a score of 9 under, Davis Thompson. Unreal. Tied for second with a score of 7 under, Joaquin Neiman, Tommy Lewis, and Brandon Hagee. Tied for third with a score of 6 under, Seamus Power, JJ Spawn, Pat Perez, Troy Merritt, and Roger Sloan. Tied for 10th with 5 under, Saiwoo Kim, Satoshi Kodiara, Kevin Kisner, Jason Day, Matt Wolf, Fabian Gomez, Hank Labodia, Michael Gillick, Scott Stallings. This is a pretty big tie here. Chris Kirk, Robert Streb, and Joseph Brumlett. Tied for 22nd with 4 under, Bo Van Pelt, Henrik Norlander, Cam Davis, Brendan Todd, Lucas Griffin, Richie Wrensky, Bubba Watson, Maverick McNeely, Walter Zalatoris, and Patton Kazir. Oh, and a couple more that I missed. Dylan Fratelli, Lucas Glover, Danny Willett, Garrick Higo, Bu Hostler, and Willie Mack III. Tied for 38th with 3 under. It's a pretty big tie. Sebastian Munoz, Lucas Donald, Ted Potter Jr., Charles Howell III, Sanjay M., Phil Mickelson, Sung-Hoo Kong, Justin Suh, Chesson Hadley, Tyler Duncan, Ches Ravi, Jonas Blixt, Aaron Baddeley, Cam Percy, Josh Teeter, Webb Simpson, Tyler Duncan, Jimmy Walker, Kramer Hickok, and Curtis Thompson. The 2 under tie is pretty big. We're just going to go through notables at this point. Patrick Rogers, Mark Hubbard, Adam Noren, Joel Dahman, Matt Jones, Michael Thompson, Danny Lee, Tied for 89th with 1 under. Of notables, Mackenzie Hughes, Harold Varner III, J.B. Holmes, Cam Champ, Russell Knox, Cam Triangle. Tied for 108th at even, Doc Redmond, DJ Trahan, Dylan McCarthy, Gary Woodland, Bryson DeChambeau, Adam Hadwin. Tied for 123rd with 1 over, Robbie Shelton, Henry Higgs, Rafa Cabrera Bello. Tied for 140th with 2 over, Emiliano Grillo, Taylor Hogue. Tied for 147th with 3 over, Bryce Garnett, Will Gordon. And that's it among notables in this tournament. Now I'm going to preview and predict the NASCAR races for the weekend. They will be racing from Road America in Wisconsin. Only Xfinity and Cup this time around. And we will start with Xfinity. And at the pole, let's see if the starting lineup is even up. I don't see any starting lineups for Xfinity. Let's see if the Cups is there just out of curiosity. No, so we're just going to do odds on DraftKings instead. Sorry, guys. Should be checking these things before the podcast. But, idiot me. Forgot. Alright, so Xfinity. The Henry 180. Kyle Busch is plus 165 favorite. Allison Cindric is 3-1. AJ Allmendinger is plus 350. Ty Gibbs is 6-1. Justin Allgaier and Daniel Hemrick are each 16-1. Kevin Harvick's at 20-1. Noah Gragson and Kaz Grala is 22-1. Justin Haley's 30-1. Harrison Burton 40-1. Any other drivers 50. Jeb Burton, Brandon Jones, Alex Lab 80-1. So is Andy Lawley and Sam Meyer and Brett Moffitt. Riley Herbst is 100-1. Michael Lenett's 125-1. Jeremy Clements and Matt Snyder are 150-1 and 200-1. Josh Bleeky, Boris Said, and Ryan Sieg. For this race, I'm going to go with Justin Allgaier at 16-1 to win the Henry 180. And now, the Jockey Made in America 250. Chase Elliott's a plus 250 favorite. Kyle Larson's plus 350. Martin Truex Jr. is 8-1. Kyle Busch is 8-1. And Truex is 6-1. Joey Logano's 12-1. Denny Hamlin's 14-1. William Byron is 22-1. Alec Bowman 25-1. So is AJ Allmendinger. Ryan Blaney, Kevin Harvick each 30-1. Brad Keselowski's 35-1. Chris Bell, Kurt Busch, Austin Cindric are all 40-1. Ross Chase and Tyler Riddick 66-1. Chris Buescher, Michael McDowell 80-1. Chase Briscoe, Cole Custer, Eric Jones, and Daniel Suarez all 100-1. Matt DiBenedetto is 125-1. Eric Almirola, Austin Dillon, Ryan Newman, Ryan Preece, all 200-1. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Bubba Wallace are 250-1. Ty Dillon's 500-1. Corey LaJoie 600-1. Anthony Alfredo 750-1. James Davis and Justin Haley 1,000-1. Quinn Houff, Josh Bilicki, Cody Ware, Kyle Tilley, and Ryan Eversley are all 1,500-1. My pick for this race, I'm gonna go with, I don't feel good about it, but Joey Logano 12-1 to win the Jockey Made in America 250. All right, now I'm gonna do my latest MLB mock draft with the draft coming up a week from Sunday. So without further ado, here we go. Number 1, the Pittsburgh Pirates, Marco Mayer, shortstop. Eastlake High School, California, I should say Marcelo Mayer. It's looking more and more likely that Mayer will be the guy for the Pirates come next weekend for the first overall pick. He's not a perfect player per se, but he does just about everything right, and he has high upside. 2, the Texas Rangers, Jack Leiter, righty, Vanderbilt. Due to a strong showing in the College World Series, Leiter's stock rose even more. He is the best pitcher in this draft class and could have been a first-round pick several years ago, but opted to go to school, which was the right call. 3, Detroit Tigers, Jackson Jobe, righty, Heritage Hall High School, Oklahoma. The Tigers have some options here in this mock. I have them adding to their young collection of pitching with Jobe. His stock is absolutely rising even after he went from a guy that occasionally showed flashes to perhaps the best prep arm in the draft. 4, the Boston Red Sox, Henry Davis, catcher, Louisville. Davis is somebody else whose stock is soaring as we get closer to the draft. He's somebody who broke out onto the scene in this college season and would instantly become the Red Sox catcher of the future. 5, the Baltimore Orioles, Jordan Lawler, shortstop, Jesus Prep High School, Texas. A lot of people seem to think that the O's are going to go with the bat here. Lawler is a two-way player, but is most likely to be drafted as a shortstop due to his tremendous upside. That would be too tempting to pass up. 6, the Arizona Diamondbacks, Khalil Watson, shortstop, Wake Forest High School, North Carolina. The Diamondbacks are a team that's under pressure to get it right with this pick. Watson is somebody that is a great hitter with a ton of power and has a shot to go higher than this. 7, the Kansas City Royals, Kumar Rocker, righty, Vanderbilt. The second of 2 Vandy pitchers lands here at the Royals, despite a rocky decisive game in the College World Series. Rocker should be a high pick come next Sunday, and he'd be just yet another asset to go with the Royals' young pitching collection. 8, the Colorado Rockies, Brady House, shortstop, Winder Barrow High School, Georgia. The Rockies go with the possible need pick here with House with the thought of Trevor Story being traded. House has got some lofty comparisons due to his high upside, so this would be a tough pass for the Rockies. 9, the Los Angeles Angels, Ty Madden, righty, Texas. This would be a very nice pick for the Angels, who could use some more pitching in their system. Madden helped the Longhorns in their run to the College World Series, and has the potential to be a top-end starter and could buzz through the minors. 10, the New York Mets, Sal Frelick, outfield, Boston College. This would be a solid pick by the Mets, who can use some college bats in their system. Some people are concerned about his height, but does have pop in his bat. 11, the Washington Nationals, Sam Bachman, righty, Miami of Ohio. For the second mock in a row, I have Bachman here to the Nationals, who could use college arms. He's somebody else that I could see breezing through the minors and ends up at the show, whether it's as a starter or a reliever. 12, the Seattle Mariners, Matt McLean, shortstop, UCLA. McLean and the Mariners have been a popular match among recent mock drafts. McLean is somebody that has a solid bat and speed, but does not hit for power. 13, the Philadelphia Phillies, Colton Cowser, outfield, Sam Houston State. The Phillies to me are a bit of a wild card here as the draft gets closer. Cowser has a sweet lefty swing, but it's unknown what outfield spot he'll end up at. 14, the San Francisco Giants, Benny Montgomery, outfield, Redland High School, Pennsylvania. The Giants may land themselves a possible steal here with Montgomery, which would only add to a suddenly great farm system. His athleticism is outstanding and has great power with his bat. 15, the Milwaukee Brewers, Jordan Wicks, lefty, Kansas State. I really would like this pick for the Brewers, who could use some college arms in their system. Wicks has a solid pitch selection, throws for quality speeds, and is an innings eater. 16, the Miami Marlins, Harry Ford, catcher, North Cobb, Georgia. This would be an interesting selection for the Marlins, and it would tell you about how they really feel about Jorge Alfaro. Ford has tremendous offensive upside and is a good athlete. 17, the Cincinnati Reds, Gunnar Hoagland, righty, Ole Miss. This would be a nice pick for the Reds here. Hoagland is recovering from Tommy John surgery, and if it weren't for that, he would have been a quicker path to the majors, and he would have been a higher selection than this. 18, St. Louis Cardinals, Bubba Chandler, righty, shortstop, North Oceany High School, Georgia. The Cardinals are supposedly looking at pitching for this selection, and here I have them snagging the two-way talent in Chandler. There's some uncertainty whether Chandler is better off as a shortstop or a pitcher, but Shohei Ohtani is proving that being a two-way player is possible. 19, the Toronto Blue Jays, Ryan Cusick, righty, Wake Forest. This would be a nice pick for the Jays to add to their collection of young pitching here at Cusick. He's one of the hardest throwers in the draft, and the Jays have a history of drafting hard throwers. 20, the New York Yankees, Andrew Painter, righty, Calvary Christina High School in Florida. Painter is one of the wild card entries in the draft because of the unknown that is where exactly he'll be picked. He's one of the better athletes in terms of pitchers in the draft, but he has boom or bust potential. 20, the Chicago Cubs. Colson Montgomery, third baseman, South Ridge High School, Indiana. The Cubs go with the potential position of need due to the uncertain future of Chris Bryant. Montgomery has the bat-the-ball skill that some of these teams just die for in the strikeout era. 22, the Chicago White Sox. Jude Fabian, outfield, Florida. The White Sox could go anywhere with this pick, and here I have them going with the talented outfield in Fabian. He has swing and miss concerns, but has great tools. 23, to Cleveland Indians. Joe Mack, catcher, Williamsville East High School, New York. The Indians have been heavily ranked the catchers as this draft gets closer. Mack is a great two-way catcher, but he may not sign if he isn't chosen in the first round. 24, the Atlanta Braves. Michael McGreevy, righty, UC Santa Barbara. The Braves and McGreevy have been another popular mock draft match of late. McGreevy came into his own this past season with his stuff and pitch ability. 25, Oakland Athletics. Alex Mooney, shortstop, St. Mary's Prep, Michigan. Mooney has been a fast riser as the draft gets closer, and the A's have been linked to him heavily. There's quietly some power in his bat, and some consider him can't miss at the next level. 26, the Minnesota Twins. Adrian Del Castillo, catcher, Miami. Del Castillo is somebody that was considered a top 10 pick not long ago, but his stock fell due to being inconsistent. When he's on his game, he has some big-time power and a good approach. 27, the San Diego Padres. Frank Mazzucato, righty, East Catholic High School, Connecticut. The Padres are pretty much stacked in their farm system, since some graduating some big names and recently being a contender now. Mazzucato is somebody with an interesting arsenal and has different speeds for his pitches. 28, the Tampa Bay Rays. Wes Kath, third baseman, Desert Mountain High School in Arizona. Kath is someone else that stock is flying up of late. His pure hitting is what might have Kath selected in the first round. In 29, the Los Angeles Dodgers, Peyton Stovall, second baseman, Houghton High School, Louisiana. The Dodgers are sometimes an unknown when it comes to the draft. Stovall has a very sweet swing and has tremendous upside with his bat. All right, now we're going to go over the latest news and notes, and the first thing I want to hit on is not sports related. It's coming up, breaking news. Elsa becomes the first hurricane of the year, so we're in hurricane season as the storm is currently around Barbados and is supposed to hit the south area of Florida by Monday evening. So that is something, obviously, to look out for. I'm currently watching the news, so that's why this story is first starting to pop up. And something I have yet to address on the podcast, thoughts and prayers to those affected in the Miami building collapse from last week. Such a sad story, and it's still yet to be determined how many remains have been and yet to be found. Couple survivors, which is a good thing too. But it's just a sad story. So thoughts and prayers to those who were affected in that awful building collapse. And like I said, there's a couple survivors, which is good. But it's just a very, very sad story. As, like I said, there still remains to be found. And I believe last I saw there were 16 remains found. And last I saw in terms of number of survivors, I want to say it was like 8, 11, or something like that. So if there's different numbers that come out over the weekend, I'll give it out on the podcast on Monday. More news and notes. Some Olympic news. Sprinter Sha'Carri Richardson is facing a 30-day suspension after testing positive for marijuana. So she may miss the Olympics. That would be a big loss for the USA track team if Richardson is ineligible for the Olympics. A lot of fines in the NFL yesterday. The Washington football team fined $10 million after investigation into allegations of sexual harassment, bullying, and intimidation. And then Dan Snyder said that the money will go to charity, which I like when money that people are fined for goes to charity. I think that's really cool. Jacob deGrom finally gave up an earned run on the road. So that's something. So the Rockies are hosting the Cardinals this weekend. So it's Nolan Arenado's return to Colorado. I didn't even think of that. So I was going through Major League Baseball stuff. So we got a standing ovation in his first game back in Denver. So good job, Rockies fans. Dodgers will start Trevor Bauer on Sunday despite the sexual assault stuff. Ken Rosenthal called out the Dodgers for saying that Bauer would start, and I was about to say Rogers because I had Roberts and Bauer stuck in my head. I don't know where the G came from, but Trevor Bauer to start on Sunday, and Dave Roberts said it's out of our hands. All-Star starters revealed, and I'll get to them in a moment. American League starters: Salvador Perez, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Marcus Semien, Rafael Devers, Xander Bogaerts, Mike Trout, Aaron Judge, Teoscar Hernandez, and Shohei Ohtani. National League starters: Buster Posey, Freddie Freeman, Adam Frazier, Nolan Arenado, Fernando Tatis Jr., Ronald Acuna Jr., Nicholas Castellanos, and Jesse Winker. And Vlad's message to, or from his father, Vlad Jr.'s message from his father: I'm a proud dad. Yankees acquire Tim LeCastro from Arizona for AA pitcher Keegan Curtis. So the Yankees getting some outfield depth a little bit here. I just think they're just trying for the flash in the pan and lightning in the bottle guys, like Luke Voit, for example. But it hasn't been working. They need to think big. But my issue is that it might be too late. I've gone on several rants on the Yankees on the podcast. You could listen to the shows from yesterday and Monday if you want to hear some Yankees rants. The NFL cannot confirm Chung's remark, as the league says, and cannot confirm Eugene Chung's allegation as he was called not the right minority during a coaching interview. So, that is obviously an interesting story, because usually the league is pretty good at who would make these kind of remarks with these investigations. So somebody said it, but someone's lying here. Ronald Acuna Jr. was out last night with back tightness for the Braves. The Pacers are hiring Lloyd Pierce to be Rick Carlisle's top assistant for the Pacers. The Mavericks and the Heat are eyeing Kawhi Leonard as they plan to make a hard push for the Clipper star, as signs still point towards him staying. And obviously, the Knicks are going to be thrown out there as well. I know people are going to ridiculously throw out the Lakers, which is stupid. And there's going to be some other teams thrown out as well. The NBA bans Raptors' Jalen Harris for disqualifying the anti-drug program. So Jalen Harris, bye-bye. Patrick Beverley apologizes to Chris Paul after pushing Chris Paul in the back during the game. So, that's nice of Patrick Beverley. Jay Crowder said that the Suns broke the Clippers. He knew the West Finals were over when Pat Beverley shoved Chris Paul in the back. We know he broke them. Reggie Bush says he never cheated. As the USC former star commented on Twitter asking the NCAA to reinstate records amid the NIL approval. He said he never cheated the game. OTA violations for 3 teams. The Jaguars and Urban Meyer, $300,000. The 49ers and Kyle Shanahan, $150,000. And same for the Cowboys and Mike McCarthy. The Devontae Adams deal will be massive, as the Packers and the All-Pro receiver are expected to work on a deal to make him the NFL's highest paid receiver. An NHL trade happened yesterday. Victor Friedson gets traded from Nashville to the Kings for a 2021 second-round pick and a 2022 third-round pick. I'm surprised that this trade happened. I wonder if Nashville just can't afford him. Are they trying to clear cap room for somebody? Are they unhappy with the Friedson? Are they blowing it up? So I'm interested to see what the Predators do for the rest of this offseason. But I think this is a great trade for LA, who I said on the podcast about a month ago on News and Notes, maybe longer, that the LA Kings are eyeing top talent forwards. You got one of them. This is a good pickup for them. They didn't have to give up a first rounder. So good for the Kings. And I think Nashville probably got 60 cents on the dollar. I say 60 because they got a second and a third. But I think that Friedson should have gotten back maybe a first. So maybe a first and a fourth or something like that. Because I think Friedson's that good of a player. So maybe his maybe the value is just down. So good pickup for the Kings, nonetheless. And his teammate Philip Forsberg doesn't seem too happy about the trade, as his Instagram reply was a thumbs down. The Arizona Coyotes have hired a new coach, Andre Tourigny, a former assistant with the Avalanche and the Senators. It's an interesting hire. I think the Coyotes might be going full rebuild. They might have realized that the bubble run was just a little bit of an aberration in a way. Because I thought they would go with the bigger name here. Team USA Select Team revealed. Anthony Edwards, Sadiq Bey, Miles Bridges, Darius Garland, Tyrese Halliburton, Tyler Harrell, John Jenkins, Keldon Johnson, Josh Maggette, Dakota Mathias, Emmanuel Quickly, Naz Reid, Cam Reynolds, Isaiah Stewart, Obi Toppin, PJ Washington, and Patrick Williams. So a couple of rookies on here. Obviously, the Rookie of the Year runner-up in Edwards. The Knicks 2 rookies from this past season. Patrick Williams, Halliburton's good. So, and a couple of second-year players on here, too. Tyler Harrow. And even a third-year player here. Or is it a fourth year of Miles Bridges already? Or no, he was essentially third year. He's going into his fourth. USA Basketball pre-Olympic exhibition games to air on NBC Sports. I'm interested to see who calls these games in the Olympics for NBC. Because I know it was Marv Albert in 2016. I think that NBC should hire Mike Breen for these games. Mike Breen is the best announcer in basketball, bar none. Mike Breen is the voice of the NBA. He calls big games. He's the best big game announcer in sports right now with Doc Emmerich retiring. Oh, it's between him and Joe Buck. Can't forget about Joe Buck, but Mike Breen is just there. Bang is the best call in sports. So it should be Mike Breen. I won't rule out Kenny Albert because he's obviously now the top guy for hockey. Mike Tirico, I think, deserves a shot at calling the basketball, obviously. He did it for ESPN as the number 2 guy behind Mike Breen for a long time. I think it'll be Mike Tirico, and I think that realistically it should be Mike Tirico. But if NBC wants to go big, rehire Mike Breen. I know Mike Breen did the Olympics in 2008 for NBC, so I wouldn't rule out Mike Breen, but I think it's going to be Mike Tirico. But that's who, like I said, it should realistically be. If you're talking about an NBC employee, it should be Mike Tirico. And yesterday, Brooks Koepka trolled Bryson DeChambeau's news as Koepka takes to Twitter after DeChambeau tells ESPN he's splitting with his caddy. So, that is just interesting that Brooks Koepka just kind of did a troll there. Alrighty, last but not least, my best bet of the day, brought to you by FanDuel. Last night's was a winner between the Braves and Mets. It was the over. To me, that was just crazy that was that low of a total. You knew a bullpen was going to fall apart, but really the reason why it went over was because Jacob deGrom had a bad first inning. But that said, all right, to best bet. I'm going to go with, oh, by the way, Rays Blue Jays lines are up. And 10 is ridiculous for a Rays Blue Jays game. That's ridiculous. I hate picking unders for best bet, but I'm going 3 units on under 10 between the Rays and the Blue Jays for my best bet of the day. That is ridiculous. I think that, I said if it was a total less than 8, I'd go over, but 10 is, to me, too high. So I'm going under 10, minus 114 between the Blue Jays and the Rays. All right, that's it for the show today. I'll be back on Monday recapping everything from the Stanley Cup Final, NBA Conference Finals. We'll see if Bucks-Hawks go 7 or not. MLB, WNBA, UEFA quarterfinals. Golf, tennis, NASCAR. We'll have news and notes for you. Maybe another mock draft for Major League Baseball. And obviously, my best bet as well. Hope you guys have a fabulous weekend, everybody.